Yeah, my brain can't handle it so much.
You need to tell her that Carl Richards says you need to shut your brain off.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
can't talk right now.
I can't talk because I am not liable for anything that comes out of my mouth during that time. You know how many marriages that could save?
A lot.
That's great.
That's awesome.
We have fixed multiple things with this. Today on Tabletop Coffee, we'll be learning how to do more by doing less.
I'm not going to be mowing this year.
I know, that's amazing.
I know, it is incredible.
I would love to go a year without mowing.
Well, let me tell you what I'm thinking. First of all,
Okay.
I'm kind of in the middle of it anyway, and I had a client a few weeks ago to say, what do you know about doing more by doing less?
Okay.
And I said, a little, and I'm learning a lot about it.
Right.
Reading about it and listening to people who know more than I do, which is like a lot of people. You know, and you and I have talked about this numerous times.
Yes, we have.
You and I have had the philosophy. We kind of grew up with the philosophy, and then we continued on with the philosophy of work harder, work longer.
Yes.
And then get these results done. And that worked well for us for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Paid off in lots of ways. But I just kept sensing that there's got to be a different way to do things in various seasons of life. I mean, I was the kind of guy, you know, when I started my business that I'm cleaning bathrooms, you know, I'm vacuuming floors, I'm emptying trash, because it's something I can do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't involve more cash outlay. So I did that for a long time, and then you encouraged me to hire somebody to clean the friggin' office. You know, that was scary, and I did it because it was money that I could save, and then began to hire other things to be done. I'm glad I did it. I've never once second-guessed myself that I should be cleaning the office now. My client and I, he was out of town on business. Actually, he was trying to get some rest. And so he brought this topic up. And so we kind of began this contest of who could outdo the other one by doing less.
Okay.
So we've been keeping track of things that you could do less of. And it's difficult because sometimes in order to be able to take care of the task, it's easier to do the task than it is to teach somebody else to do the task.
That's true.
And so I started kind of keeping track of a new team member, and so I thought I could do this, but I probably should teach her how to do it. And she was grateful that I taught her how to do it. So a couple other things like that. And then this guy was telling me some things that he's doing in his business to make sure that he doesn't continue to, you know, he says if you do, you know, you got to have a maintenance man. But he said if I do maintenance man work, I get maintenance man pay, as opposed to doing owner work and getting owner pay.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to do that professionally, but I'm also trying to do it personally. This is a big deal for me. I've hired a lawn service. You know, a few years ago, we bought a big zero-turn Toro lawnmower because I was mowing 5 yards.
You were mowing all of your neighbors.
I was. One had some real social issues, and he wasn't around for a year as a ministry to his wife. I did theirs. My elderly neighbors were across the street in their 80s. Had a lady to my left who was a single mom with a bad knee, so I mowed her yard. And then across the street, this side, this lady lost her husband and lost her son in like a 2-year period. She lost them both. So I'm like, well, I'll mow her yard. So I was mowing 5 yards. This year I was like, I just don't have it in me anymore.
Sure.
So I let everybody know that I'm going to hire a lawn service. I did it. I hired somebody.
That's great.
For the year.
How do you feel about it?
I feel awesome about it. I am so excited about it. The dread of spring is gone. The dread of the summer is gone because it would just always be on my mind.
Right.
You know, I've got to make sure I have gas in the can. If I don't have gas in the can, I've got to go get it.
Right.
And then I got to make sure that the weather, I was forever looking at the weather. And last year was awful in Drenchburg.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I couldn't just mow it on the weekends. I'd be working all day. And then I don't really feel like mowing tonight, but I got to mow tonight because tomorrow it's going to rain again.
Mm-hmm.
So that was on there. And then I would dread it. I would not enjoy doing it. I would feel exhausted when I was done and already dreading the next 7 days or 10 days, if, you know, whatever it would be. I'm like, you know, I'm going to do something different. I don't know if it's the right call or not. There's a cost involved.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you got to pay for the service. I'm glad I did it.
I'm glad you did it too.
Yeah.
But it frees up your time to be able to do whatever you want to do.
Indeed.
Whether you want to put that time towards your business or whether you want to put that time towards helping others in some other way.
It does, and it frees up a lot of, I think, emotional and cognitive space. And in fact, there's an article I want to share with you. One of my clients, who's a businessman, sent me an article, and I started kind of linking around to various articles from this gentleman by the name of Carl Richards.
Okay.
He draws these cool things on napkins.
Right.
And this one says, happiness equals hiring a maid, asterisk. And then it says, asterisk is really, question mark. He says, have you ever thought you'd be happier if you could just pay someone to do your laundry? Well, it turns out you're right, at least according to a recent study which found that paying someone else to complete unenjoyable tasks could result in greater life satisfaction. Outsourcing housework, dislike, could even save your marriage. I shared the research with my friends, and I got an unexpected response. What do you think the unexpected response was? Don't read it.
He got an unexpected response?
Yeah, he was sharing these articles with his friends.
Right.
And he got an unexpected response from him. What do you think their response was?
I don't know. I would think it would be a great thing, but I think a lot of people would think that you should continue to do that.
That was his experience. He said they were angry.
I was dependent on that. Why did you do that?
He said they were mad when he was sharing these articles about how you should do less. I was kind of blown away by that.
Do you think that's because of the society that we are in? Or just that we've grown up like we have, as being taught to work hard? You know, if you're going to eat, you've got to work hard.
Sure. One of my friends that I've kind of lost contact with now, we're kind of in different places in life, but he was taught with the idea if you work twice as hard as everybody else, you'll always have a job.
Right.
And he lived by that.
Yeah.
And it about killed him.
I can see that.
He says, he said the response he got from them was they were angry. He said they were actually mad. My tax lawyer friend charges $300 an hour, but still changes his own oil in his car.
Right.
Another friend earns $50 an hour, but still bakes bread that he could easily buy for a $5 bill.
I think you have to mix in another side to that, though, because if this person enjoys baking bread and that brings them happiness and joy, then they should bake bread. They shouldn't go and pay $5 for a loaf of bread.
So I agree, if it's something you enjoy. But it doesn't sound like that was the reason.
No, I don't think so.
He was trying to save money.
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, I look at my dad, and he's the same way. I mean, he still changes the oil in all of his cars.
Really?
Even though his health isn't great, but he would never take his car to somebody else.
But like the oil change thing, I grew up I worked at a service station. And so I would change my own oil there, and did for years because it was cheaper to do. And during that season of life, I think it was probably wise.
Probably was wise.
And then now, I would hate getting the stuff together. I would hate going out there and crawling underneath the car. And then you got this oil. Then what do you do with it? Well, you got to find a place that accepts it and take it. I mean, it's this whole ordeal.
Yeah.
I gave that up a long time ago, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to go back to that.
I wouldn't want to.
You don't
either.
change your own oil, do you?
Oh, no. I haven't changed oil for 20 years.
Yeah.
Used to.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it was more of a necessity. So, we're not speaking to those people who don't have any way of paying for even the smaller things in life. Mm-hmm. There are things we have to do out of necessity.
Right.
But I think that if you are in a place where your time is better used somewhere else, building relationships with others, and it's not costing you but a fraction of what you're making, it makes more sense to pay somebody to do that. Hey, thank you for joining us on another episode of Tabletop Coffee. If you like our content, be sure to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, please do.
And don't forget to click that bell as well so you get any new videos that we put out on the channel, and you'll get a notice of that.
Yeah, and also if you have any suggestions about how we should say that, hit that bell. What is it? Knock on the door? What is it?
Ring the doorbell. There's no doorbell.
Like the like.
Until next time.